Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined as always by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, the Jets 53-man roster is set. The season is nearly upon us. The Athletic is writing slanderous articles about the Jets. That's nothing new. We're very excited to tier list our 53-man roster. You see the board. You see all of these friendly faces. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Mike, it's one of my favorite videos that we make every year. We can play around with the tier titles. We can play around with who goes where. At the end of it, we can even rank the players within the tier. But hey, if you're here, half hour, grab a 6-pack of beer, enjoy the video. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers, so we're getting pretty close, Mike. So if you are here, you're not subscribed yet, please do so. We'll follow it back, anybody who does subscribe. But Mike, I think we can jump right into it. We have 6 categories going from elite all the way down to no expectations. Anything that we need to change off the bat here, Mike, in terms of the categories?
Let's try with these. If we need to put a couple guys into some funnier, more specific categories, we can. We are sponsored by Jets X Factor. Our boys are over there. Robbie Sabo, Michael Nania, Joe Blewett.
I will say, I think Robbie, pound for pound, is the best Jets beat writer in terms of knowing ball. Like, he actually knows football. I think better
Costello?
than Brian Costello is one of one, and not in a good way. All right, jumping into it, Mike. I just want to throw someone in the elite tier right off the bat.
Yeah.
It just feels good, and I want to bring Sauce Gardner up there. I can't say enough about how good he's been in 2 years. Even last year, week 1 and 2, maybe not his best 2 games. And there's a weird group of people on Twitter that were calling him out. Oh, he's fallen off his sophomore slump. Back-to-back All-Pros as a 21, 22-year-old. Definitely elite tier. I don't think there's a question about it.
We've never seen anything like it. No one has. The greatest 2-year start to a cornerback's career ever. Sauce Gardner. Elite.
He's getting into golf, getting into video games.
He has like weird arms, you know? He does a little bit of he's got like those T-Rex arms, very skinny, but they're long. Yeah. It's like if a T-Rex had long arms, be very potent in the wild.
Yep. And then a guy like Izzy, I'm going Izzy, honestly, no expectations. Running back 4, probably not going to be active really for many games this year. No expectations doesn't mean we don't like you. It doesn't mean you're not a good player. But going into 2024, which is really how we're going to rank this on, I have no expectations for Izzy this upcoming year.
Yeah, Palestine and Banakanda, can't make that joke. I don't know if we can. It's fine. I'm allowed to. It's just running back 4. You figure if he would be the guy that gets cut next, probably.
Yeah.
If anything were to happen, you don't want to have 3 running backs, and they just don't really have a fullback. So, but he looked great in the preseason. There was a stat where he was the number 1 graded player in the preseason, not just on the Jets, in the whole NFL. So he had that nice touchdown run against the Giants. I don't know. Hopefully we don't see much of Izzy, or we're going to have some problems.
Agreed. Now, a guy like Tony Adams, I'm between 2 tiers, Mike. Solid player, solid veteran, or high upside. Where do you think Tony Adams should fall on our list
solid
here?
Player, solid veteran.
That's where I was leaning.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, listen, is he high upside? Yeah, I guess anyone could be. He's a younger guy. I just hope he goes out there and kind of does what he does last year. Best moment of the season, interception against the Eagles.
Yep.
So for anybody, in my opinion, that was my favorite moment of the season.
And the Jets are as high on Tony Adams as you can be. He sat out the preseason last year, right? And then he was an automatic plug-in starter, so they're high on him. I think solid player, solid veteran. When we ranked the tiers and the players inside of it, he might be on the bottom end of the tier.
Tony Adams might be one of the worst players ever to never play a preseason game in the past 2 seasons, and he's good. It just he no one played this year, so.
Yeah. And so Zaire Barnes, I actually am leaning to just the do your job category. I actually have a little bit of expectation for him This year he had a decent preseason. He was kind of flying around a bit. I still don't know if I could put him in high upside yet until he does something on the field. So I think Do
Yeah.
Your Job's like that perfect category for him.
My favorite thing about Zaire Barnes is that Buffalo Jet fan just keeps tweeting that he's awesome. So I'm like, this guy's got to, maybe he's really good. I don't know.
A great follow on Twitter. He puts out, I like his he'll do like long form posts. Like he'll use like literally every character you can get to talk about a point, and I always read through them. So I think Do Your Job's fair. And then Braylon Allen, Mike, I think it's high upside. I mean, how can you not?
That's high.
I mean, how can you not?
High upside. You see that guy's fucking stomach?
I saw your tweet at Connor Hughes where you had a picture of Braylon Allen, and it said, if he slaps your girl's ass, what are you doing? Did Connor reply to it, or Connor?
I don't think he did. It was funny though, because Connor's like, Jets roster set. Send me some mailbag questions, and I'm like, if this giant rookie running back slaps your wife's ass, like what's happening? And everyone's just like, I think Drew from Jersey quote tweeted, and he was like, it's his wife now. That's it.
Yeah. And I remember, so when he just defended Zach in The Athletic yesterday, I was going to tweet the Jenna Ortega, Sabrina Carpenter makeout video and do Connor Hughes and Zach Rosenblatt. Decided against it. Didn't want to cross the line, but
yeah, I like to cross that article. Really, this is going to sound ignorant. I didn't read the article, but it absolutely sucked. I won't read it. And I'm not that guy. If I don't, I'll try to give something a chance. But what is going on? We see all this content comes out. The Jets seem like the happiest bunch of dudes, good people in the building. The Jets have specifically tried to draft these good men. And then right before the season, the Athletic's going to put out some stupid article about how the Jets locker rooms in disarray. Get out of here, dude.
And it came from agents, so it could come from JFM. It could come from Hassan Reddick. It could come from people that they feel like the Jets have wronged them. But yeah, you look at the team itself. Sometimes looks can be deceiving, but every young player like loves Aaron Rodgers. Like,
what are we doing?
Him. So it's a very weird scenario. But the newest Jet, Brendan Bates, I don't have any expectations for him. I think he belongs in this category.
Yeah, the only stuff I've seen about him are positive things. You'll see like Bears fans on Twitter being like, oh man, you let him get away, which is good, but I don't know much about him. He looks interesting in the preseason, highly graded. I think you tweeted out highest graded rookie tight end.
Yeah.
Good. We needed a third guy. It was weird when the Jets released the first iteration of their roster and there was only 2 tight ends. Yeboah into IR. They cut the Anthony Firkser. So, all right.
And let's get to a great player here. Give me Thomas Morstead and great. You could argue elite, but he's a great player. And goddamn, how many times last year did he have a punt inside like the 15-yard line when we needed him most? Also, I think he's phenomenal on Twitter. So give me Morstead as a great player.
He had a nice tweet today where he was dressing up with some of the Jets players at a party, and I'm like, oh, this is that tumultuous locker room that we're talking about. Don't understand it. We should put Greg DeLeg in there too while we're at it.
Yeah, let me find Greg. He's down here somewhere. There we go. Bring him up here.
He's no hair. He's lack of hair.
Bring him into the great category. And Mike, I think Will McDonald fits in pretty well with high upside.
He does. First round pick. He spins like a washing machine.
Like he can have a 7-sack year and we can be like, oh, maybe year 3 he'll really pop off. We're not asking him to get double-digit sacks this year, but be a spark player, right? Be okay against the run and get to the quarterback every time you can. So
I think he could put a lot of pressure on Reddick's camp.
Definitely. And Mike, I don't want to jump the gun yet, but a guy like Michael Carter, I want to put into elite so bad. I know we can't put like 12 guys in elite. We have guys that we'll get to that will fall in there. But Mike, give me your take on elite versus great player for MC2.
I wouldn't put him in elite. I don't think he's great. Yeah, even great. He's great at what he does. I wonder how he would fare as a full-time outside corner. I know the size is tough. But
yeah, for me, there's no wiggle room here. Like he is by far a top 3 guy at doing his job in a great manner. And the amount of, and it becomes almost too rhetoric where people keep saying he's undervalued and underrated, but he really isn't anymore against Jet fans. Like he's just not undervalued.
You know, he's valued properly. The NFL put out that new All-Pro slot corner position.
Yep.
And I figured he would be the guy, and they didn't put him. But I don't even know who won. Interesting. But yeah, he should be considered every second. And even when he lets up a catch, he's draped on people.
Yep, all the time.
They should call him Curtains. Let's move on. What about DJ Reed?
DJ Reed's a great player, man. I think he's just a great player. Where is DJ Reed on this?
This is why, like, what are teams going to do? He's at bottom left. What are teams going to do against the Jets? Where it's like you have 3 insane corners. You have a crazy pass rush, especially if Reddick comes back and plays. And then you have 2 All-Pro linebackers. What are we going to do?
And I feel like DJ Reed, there was like a weird 3 to 4 week period last year where he got a beat a little bit more than you'd want to see. Like there'd be like a deep ball that the guy's 1.5 yards on him. Or there's times where he's draped over a player and he makes a big time catch. But his whole package of being on the Jets in 2 years, like 85 to 90% of his games are like elite tier games. So definitely a great player for me.
Dude, the one play, he was PFF's when the Jets played Sunday Night Football last year for the first time in whatever amount of years. He was number 1 corner in the league when on the graphic.
That's very cool.
He would have been All-Pro consideration, and then he struggled a little bit. Remember, he had that Waddle beat him for a bomb.
Yeah,
in one of the Dolphins games. What about Mosley?
Dude, Mosley's in between elite and great. I think we'll find out how many. We probably want to.
I would put him in great, and I would put Quincy in elite. That's what
I like that move. Let's go Mosley, great, high-end, great player. Yeah. And where's Quincy? Let me find him. There he is. We'll bring him up to elite.
Yeah, listen, you're an All-Pro. You know? We didn't vote on it. It's not our fault that the whole NFL recognizes him as elite. What are we going to do?
The Jets brought Quincy in 2021, right?
Yes.
And I remember the Falcons game in London. I had a tweet that probably looked really bad now, where I'm like, I'm pretty sure Quincy Williams will either just decapitate someone or give up like an 8-yard pass. Like there was like no in between, and you wanted that pass coverage to get better and better, and it did to an elite level.
Dude, even going into last year, we were not comfortable with him in pass coverage, and then he was an All-Pro and was like insane.
But he is a heat-seeking missile. Every time he's on the field and the running back gets a swing pass or a guy catches a 3-yard shallow cross against the middle, he just murders them every time. It's unbelievable watching him play football. And I mean, I'll look back on a tweet from 2022 where I said, I just want Quincy Williams on my football team. I don't care what he does on the field. I want him on my football team because he lays out people every time he has a chance to. So I like that play, having him in elite.
Right. And his brother's elite too.
His brother is elite.
Oh, maybe the best player on the team. It's great that we have so many options of this.
And I mean,
Sauce is probably on top of his game more, but I don't know, it's close. Yeah.
And like Quinnen in 2022 had like an all-time year. Truly unbelievable.
The Packers game that year was insane.
And then
like 7 plays in that game. You're like, what the hell?
That Packers game. And that was the whole PFF gave him like a 58 rating.
Oh, yes. He like blocked a kick and had like 2.5 sacks and forced a fumble. And he had a bad rating.
And then PFF re-looked at it. And I think it might have been PFF George, that cuck. He came out and said, we reevaluated it. Who cares? Like, we never make mistakes. This is probably one we could have done better. And they gave him like a 73. Garbage website. But yeah, Quinnen, definitely elite.
PFF George.
I think Irv Charles is a guy that I'll put do your job. He isn't bad on special teams. He's a name that you'll see. I think the Broncos game is a game last year he kind of popped off a little bit. So yeah, get your job done. I have expectations for Irv Charles. Not the highest, but I think that's a fair category for him.
It would be nice if the Jets would bring back Justin Hardy, who got cut.
Yeah.
That would be my kind of thing. I feel like they missed him on the on the punt coverage. And we'll see. I'm very curious to see how the new kickoff goes. These guys are going to be important.
I want a guy like Max Mitchell to do his job, and he kind of looks like our buddy Andrew in this photo.
Yes, he does. That's good. That's just a good, solid take right there.
And then
do your fucking job, Andrew Max Mitchell.
Where do you want to put JBC? Is this a guy that you just want to do their job, or do you think there's a little bit of high upside here for him?
Based on the preseason, he had high upside. I mean, maybe a high do your job. What is his job?
Yeah.
To like play practice squad defense. I know he's not on the practice squad because we are listing the active roster, but
no,
we could see how high upside Matt plays out and then maybe put him at the end.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
A guy we go Tyler Conklin. Just I think he this is the Tyler Conklin category.
You could just name it Tyler Conklin. You can name it. Looks like the Geico caveman guy. Will catch 65 passes.
I bring it up a lot, and I probably sound like a hater and repetitive. I do need to see more of Tyler Conklin in the first half. Like I really do, and it's not his fault that the offense is disturbing and he has no quarterback. But how many times, Mike, do we leave MetLife when they're down 3 touchdowns with 4.5 minutes left, and we're walking out, and I'm looking at my phone, and it's 8-yard pass to Tyler Conklin, 9-yard pass to Tyler Conklin, 5, and then he ends up 4 for 52, and you're like, oh, like if you do that across the year, you're not bad, and it's all in the second half. So give me a little bit more first half Tyler Conklin, so I feel pretty good about the tight end position.
It'll just be different this year. We're gonna have sustained drives, normal behavior. I was saying today to one of my buddies, you just can't even. My brain can't even comprehend what we're gonna be watching. There's gonna be something different.
I love how I said this video is gonna be a half hour, and we're like a quarter of the way done, and we're almost 20 minutes in. It's the classic tier list, and the reason why things are gonna be different for a guy like Tyler Conklin is because Aaron Rodgers is elite by every measurement. And again, I'm not doing the whole if healthy, the Jets. Nope, Jets are gonna be healthy. They're gonna be fine. We're gonna watch him play 15, 16 games, and Aaron Rodgers is a top 3 player on the roster. Maybe when we tier the tier, he might be first. Who knows?
Yes, he's not. He won 2 of the last 4 MVPs of the National Football League. He's a terrific teammate. He took a $35 million pay cut. He's a national hero. There's nothing but good things to say. It's unbelievable. He's the GOAT. He's not injury prone. Before last season, he missed games in 2 separate seasons of his career for injury. So I'm not worried about it. We're going to smoke people. And you know why I'm not worried about it, Matt? His health is because we have a monstrous offensive line led by Mr. Tyron Smith, who also has to go into the elite category.
Absolutely. Let me find
Tyron Smith. Is he top left? Here. I know he's bottom.
That's Chuck Clark.
Chuck Clark looks just like Tyron Smith. Holy shit.
Why does Tyron Smith look so small?
He's tiny. He took a picture from 48 feet away.
Like, that's very funny. But the best, and we don't have any sources. Let me make that very clear. 0.0. We might have negative sources, but we actually do have a pretty good one that doesn't give us any breaking news. But they made the point that, like, the Jets didn't fully expect to get Tyron Smith. Like, that wasn't their plan coming into free agency. They didn't think they were going to get him, and they did. And I'm trying to give a good analogy. It's like when I...
Yeah, please. No, do it. Go.
If I'm remembered for one thing, I want to be remembered for horrifying analogies. It's like I go to Dunkin' Donuts at 8 o'clock for a large coffee, and they just throw in like a half dozen donuts because it's the end of the night, and they're getting rid of them anyway. Like, that's how I feel about getting Tyron Smith. I'll have the entire set of donuts. Good analogy or no?
I do like donuts.
Give me a better one.
Well, this is why the Jets didn't re-sign Bryce Huff, is because they didn't think they were going to have the flexibility to do what they needed to do in the offseason, getting him first.
Yeah.
It's like you wake up and snow day. It's like you went to bed. It was supposed to snow like 3 inches. You're like, maybe there's a delayed opening. It snows 8 inches. You're like, you wake up, we're not going to school today.
8 inches is a lot. 8 is a lot.
Listen, statistically, in all forms.
Mike, give me Chuck Clark. I feel like Chuck Clark could bounce around a few categories here.
I would think solid player, solid veteran / do your job. I would put him in the solid veteran group. If he was younger, I'd probably put him in the do your job. But he just fits right into that. He's like a 78 on Madden, starting type guy. I want him to do his job, but I think he's a solid player.
I like it. And then Malachi Corley, I know he has high upside. You didn't really get to see it in the preseason that much. Do you think high upside, lower end, or do you think do your jobs? Hey, get out there, make a few plays, and we'll be happy.
I like the high upside, especially the way the Jets talk about him. It's not like they just took some random dude in the 4th round. They were like, we're got it. And I'm sure they, why would they not hype up their own pick? But they would have taken him earlier.
And Mike, I think the highest jump year to year, maybe Ashton Davis in our tier ranking. I think last year we had him in like bottom tier. Ashton Davis is a solid player. He's a solid player.
Yeah, I wonder what the Jets are going to do with the safeties because they have 4 of them. Yeah. They're all going to kind of play. Or I guess 3. Now, who's the 4th safety? Clark, Davis, Tony Adams. Am I insane? Who's the last guy?
Go through it again.
Clark, Davis, Tony Adams.
I'm
looking at the whole roster as we speak. We're forgetting a safety. I'm cheating. Oh, no, they're going to use Isaiah Oliver as the other safety, so I don't feel as bad about that. And they don't have that the new terrorist sympathizer, Louis Seen or Sign.
Oh, what an asshole.
You pronounce it.
How do you grilled?
Can you imagine you have a chance to go try to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, and instead you go play for a literal terrorist sympathizer in Buffalo?
I get it. His old high school or college coach is on the staff, and he might have a better chance to play. It's fine, but don't commit. Even if it's not a big deal, he might never play a down in a live game. An enemy for life. And I tweeted that out, and a ton of Bills fans were like, "Your butt hurt," and I'm like, "All right."
Of course, that's the whole exactly. Yes.
Xavier Gipson, high upside.
I'm more of a do your job.
Really?
If we're gonna have Corley in high upside, I'd rather just Gibson do his job.
Fair. And again, punt return week 1, awesome. Fine the first 3 weeks, and then the rest of the year, every punt that went up, Mike, I was a little bit nervous. Not sure hands back there.
He dropped a punt in what was it, the Charger game? I could be wrong. I don't know. He was very shaky returning punts.
He fumbled the opening kickoff in Buffalo.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He sure did. I know he was shaky, and I'd rather just do your job. Just don't make any mistakes. And he was actually better in the passing game than I thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I hope we see less of him and more of Corley and even stupid Allen Lazard, who we have to probably put in do your job.
He's a do your job guy,
right?
This is the Allen Lazard category. And again, if you're a wide receiver 3 to 4, you get 500 yards. That's okay, perfectly fine. And with the Rodgers connection, he'll have a better year. He did win me a lot of money on my same game parlay. Sunday Night Football, I had him anytime touchdown scorer, his only touchdown of the year. I had in that parlay, and it hit in the 3rd quarter. So that was a pretty good one. The
Chiefs game where it was 20-20 in the 4th quarter, and the announcers are talking about Travis Kelce's Instagram followers, and then the worst displaying of officiating I've seen in many years took place that day. Disgusting behavior by the referees.
I agree. Thomas Hennessy, year 8. Give me a solid player. Give me it. I want more than do your job for him.
I think he's is do your job.
But when has he ever done anything bad? He actually is a solid long
No, he's good, but actually just do your job. Fine. I don't know. You could put him in solid, but please just snap the ball backwards. I always think we've talked about this, Matt. Can the Jets just not teach another guy how to snap and save a roster spot?
You could.
And again, Joe Tippmann can't even snap normally, so he can't do it. He's going to snap 40 yards behind him to the punter and the kicker, but teach a guy how to snap, and then you save a whole spot. People, all these roster gymnastics, you can't find a guy who can do that, or you can't find a kicker / punter. I don't know.
I'm with you. And a guy
Yeah.
like Olu, Mike, I almost want to. I think he's going to be a really solid player for the Jets when he plays.
Yeah.
You got to keep him high upside for now.
Oh, he's number one of this category.
Yep. And I've been thinking about this one a lot. Mike, where do you put Jermaine Johnson? Is he a great player yet? Is he the top end of the solid? What do you think?
This is the only issue. We might have to almost add a category. Like, he's very good. I don't know if he's great yet, but I think he's going to be great this year.
When we tweet out the graphic, if he's in solid, people are going to lose their fucking mind. But for
I
now,
don't think
let's
he
put him
should be
there.
in solid. I think he should be either in high upside or great player. But he
Let's
is,
put-
he's
put him in great for
realized
now.
some of his potential already.
Yeah, he had a hell of a year last year for what he was asked to do. So I'll take it. Jeremy Ruckert, do your job.
Not high upside.
As a blocker, yeah, just you've seen nothing in the passing game yet. I struggle with putting him in high upside.
I think that's fair.
I think Tack McKinley you can put in high upside.
Yeah, I like that. Little veteran.
I like that.
He looked
I don't
explosive.
Mike Isaiah Davis. Do you just do your job for him? Like third running back?
Yeah, I don't know what my expectations are for him. We can always put him in no expectations, but he's going to play.
Yeah, that's why I'm
So-
thinking lower end of do your job.
Yeah. Maybe we should put like Max Mitchell in no expectations, try to break him up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that.
You know? Like what even if Max Mitchell plays a few games, like what are my expectations for him?
Like Brady McGregor, I don't have any expectations. Like he might have some cool plays, but I'm not dying for.
Right. Like if we redid this in December, is he really going to be in a different category? I don't know.
We should redo it in December, and
We
we should
should.
also determine if Mike Williams is going to go from a great player to an elite player. I think he's great right now.
Yeah. Are we too loosely using the word great? Like, do we need a good category?
We may. Like
we
Let's
could
get
break up instead. Like we could have solid veteran and then good player, good starter.
above it.
Yeah, we
can
need.
do that.
I think we need a category in between. I do.
We can do that. So here we're gonna go good player.
Like good starter.
And is that a Tyler Conklin category? Is that where you want to put Jermaine?
I think we should change. Do you want to change the name of solid player, solid veteran? No, I think that's fine. I think this has
Yeah.
to be Jermaine. Like I think Mike Williams should go there too.
Okay.
And I really like Mike Williams. I like these guys a lot. They're good starting NFL guys.
I think this is balancing it out better. I like where your head's at. And that's
Yeah.
where like a Morgan Moses might fit in a good starter.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
I like it. And
Part to see, dude.
Solomon Thomas, solid veteran. We fine with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, and a terrific locker room guy. Dude, we were at the practice. He was just like screaming in not at people. He was fired up. He's just celebrating with his boys. He's a Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year kind of guy. Now we got to put Brees in elite.
I know. I've been waiting for it. Brees is an elite player, Mike.
He's number 2 fantasy running back. I never thought we'd see the day.
He looks so mad in his
Yeah, he
photo.
looks angry. Yeah.
Somebody else looked really angry.
Oh,
when
this
I
is
was
not a
looking.
Brees Hall shirt. This is a Bryce Hall shirt on my wall behind me. It's
Hey,
not
Bryce
a missed
Hall
typo.
had a touchdown against the Broncos.
That's right. He just signed. He made someone's roster with the Bucks, maybe.
He did. He's a very underrated through a horrible stretch of years. Just a decent player who did his job. And I don't know why. Like Bryce Hall, I'll remember 20 years from now. I was like, oh,
Yeah. We always liked him. We
Cool
always
guy.
preferred him over Eccles, which was interesting. But Eccles has been fine. Maybe he should be in the do your job category.
yeah. We'll find Echoes. Garrett Wilson, Mike. We going great or we going elite?
Broke my spine. I think he's elite.
I love it. I wanted him there, and I think that might be our last elite player. So we'll probably fill in pretty well elsewhere.
Dude,
But yeah,
this team
I
is
want
so
him
good,
elite.
Matt. This team is insane.
It feels so good. Oh
This
man.
is insane. We just got to Garrett Wilson. He's gonna have 115 catches this year.
I might have a controversial take here.
Oh no.
AVT, high end good starter. Have we seen enough?
I'm not putting him in great right now. I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's a
that's fair.
smart take. But this we had to create this category because I wouldn't put him in solid player, solid veteran. Yeah. Listen, good starter. He's a good player. We saw one stretch of all pro chattery play from AVT in 2022, I believe, early 2022, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Before he got hurt in the Bronco game.
Yep.
There were whirlwinds swirling of AVT all pro. Those words were mentioned in the same sentence. I haven't heard anything about that since. And we just want the guy to play football. So I'm excited to watch him.
Do we think Kinlaw is a high upside type of guy? Like he actually might just pop off this year and find his true potential?
What is he, 6'7", fucking monstrous dude. I like that.
I don't hate
because
that.
I don't know, solid veteran. He's been all right. So I think that's fair.
We could put him up there.
I think I'd rather have him in high upside.
Okay, I like it. That was the original thought.
Because I don't even know if he's a solid player. He's decent. He's all right. I guess decent is the same thing as solid, but
yeah. Do we think Xavier Newman falls in and do your job, or no expectation?
I would put no expectations. My backup guard, I have nothing. Listen, we'll always remember the Giants game. He saved the game.
Yep.
And he had a very nice preseason this year by whatever metrics. But
and you could argue Tyrod Taylor is a poster boy for solid player and solid veteran.
That's exactly what you want out of your backup quarterback. Dude, he looked good when we went to practice.
He did.
We went to the green and white scrimmage. He was right up and down the field. He had like a 4-play touchdown drive. He's just extremely solid. What was this? Someone put this stupid stat that he's a better career passer rating than Dan Marino, I think. so dumb. But,
all right, we go Isaiah Oliver. Since he's gonna get time, do you just want to do his job?
Do your job, Isaiah Oliver. Yeah, I don't know much about him. But hopefully do your fucking job. What about Clemens?
Again, do your job.
Do your job.
I don't call him a high upside guy yet. He's had a tough, like maybe he has a block punt that one game. There's not.
I think he's like a high low side kind of guy. He just do nothing. I don't dislike him as much as most people do online. I think he's going to be more important for the Jets than people realize because a lot of the guys that they kept, especially in the D line, are pass rushing kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you lost JFM, and you didn't have the best run defense to begin with. But the Jets should be off the field a lot more on defense, and they should be playing with a lead a lot more. So I understand why they did what they did. But
Brandon Echols, do your job. We were talking about before.
Do your job.
I like it.
If you're not cut. He's got a crazy. Does he always have that haircut?
No, I noticed that. That was part of my notes making the tier list.
What even is this haircut called? It's like I go to the barber. One of my buddies the other day was like, you should try to change up the hairstyles. Like, what could I possibly do differently? What am I gonna get, like a mohawk? Like, I don't even know what ththese hairstyles are called. I can go bald. I don't know.
Mike, one thing we gotta talk about. Saleh praised John Simpson for his camp. Like, praised how good he was in his interview the other day. Do we think John Simpson, because he hasn't, I guess, proven yet, he's like a above average type player. I'm probably leaning high upside. Like, he could just have a great year, or do you consider him a solid player yet?
My first thought was solid player, solid veteran, but that's very interesting, Matt. He's a younger guy. They say he's good in the run game. Why can't he? And he's playing next to a guy who got Laken Tomlinson paid in Tyron Smith. So very interesting. I'm happy to put him in high upside, and it depends kind of where do you want to put Tippmann? Same place?
Yeah, Tippmann's a high upside guy. I don't think it's fair to put him into a good starter yet. Some snap concerns,
but I want him number one there.
Good for him though, Mike, on just playing guard for a game, playing center for the games when you need to. I'm a Tippmann guy. I think he's going to figure it out.
The only negative thing that is about Tippmann was the snapping this preseason. I wouldn't think twice about anything else. Second round pick, played well last year. It's hard to judge because the whole offensive line was in shambles, but by all accounts, I'm very looking forward to what he does this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the next few might be a little bit easier, like Jamie and Sherwood. He's going to play a little bit, do your job.
Yeah. Some people might think he's high upside. I'd rather have him to do your job. We could probably move him up eventually in that category.
Yep. Yep.
Because I think he's technically the starting other linebacker. The Jets are relatively thin at linebacker, but you know, you have those two all-pro guys, and it's not, and they play a 4-3 most of the time, so you're not going to really use them.
Is it too early to put Leonard Taylor in high upside because he was so goddamn good in the preseason?
He looked fucking awesome.
Are we okay with that? I want to do it.
Yeah, that's where I would have thought to put him. He looks like who's that British rapper? Oh man,
over my head.
No, he looks like a guy, young Thug, Savage something. Who was the guy who was in prison in that Trump rescued? Fuck.
I don't even know.
I'll come back to it. It's hilarious. He looks actually. I got to tweet it out. He kind of looks like him.
I think Chaz Surratt, we could do your job with him.
Yeah, or No Expectations.
I think Wes is a classic No Expectations guy.
Yeah. Wes Schweitzer.
Carter Warren, like may play. People are high on him, but again,
I'd rather have him and Do Your Job
and Chaz
and No Expectations. I do not have any expectations for Chaz Surratt. I guess like play well on special teams, I guess counts. You know, everyone has a role, but man, what do we got? Stiggers.
We got Quantez. People are high on him.
You want to go high upside? He's fun.
I like that. We'll give him high upside. We're losing real estate here pretty quickly. We got to go down now to find these guys.
There's a lot of players on the Jets.
Jordan Travis, no expectation.
That's right, literally. Unless you want to put him at high upside, but I don't know if that's fair.
Hassan Reddick is a great player when he's playing.
Yeah, can we make another category like dickbag? The more the time goes by, man, it seems like he's wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
Right?
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, he's great.
Lakey Fatu, a do your job guy.
Yeah, and he's out. I guess he's got the designation to return. It's actually really helped the Jets that he's hurt with this roster gymnastics instead of teaching someone how to snap. But
no, that's fair. Where do you have Yeboah?
Also, no expectations. I have not any expectations. If he was playing, if they didn't sign the Bates and he wasn't on IR, you could make an argument that he might play some fullback at some point and be useful, but I don't have any expectations. Unless there's a preseason game and he's trying to catch a Hail Mary.
Yep, and then we got Eric Watts.
Very nice, Matt. This is impressive. I don't have any expectations for him either. I think he'll... We actually said it too before that Izzy would be the most likely guy to get cut if someone else gets brought in, and I think it would be Watts, actually.
Fair.
Roster crunch D-line.
And then we got Malik Taylor.
Just throw him right in there. Poor Brownlee.
He's back. They claimed
practice squad.
Yeah, he's back.
It's interesting that he made the team week 1 last year. It's like I kind of rather have Hardy. Like I would trade Justin Hardy and Brownlee for and get rid of Watts and Irv Charles.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can't wait to tweet the graphic out. People are gonna be so mad.
This is pretty good. I feel like. Do we have to move anybody?
Let's rearrange them and where we think they belong.
I wish Tyron Smith didn't look so much like Chuck Clark. It's insane.
Who is the best player, Mike, on the New York Jets?
That's so tough, dude. This is a sick list of guys. I think we should... We just haven't seen Rodgers in too long, or I would have clearly have him number 1.
I think I might have my opinion if I can rearrange them quick and then we can debate it.
Yeah.
I think Quinnen would be 2. And if you did Sauce 1, Rodgers 3, Tyron 4, Brees 5, Garrett six.
Quincy is definitely the last of this category, if he's even in this category. But I think he should be based on last year.
Yep.
We probably have to move Reddick up. Like, he's borderline elite, not up category, up in his own category.
Are you okay with how we have elite broken out before we go down?
I like that a lot. Tyron Smith, if he was more durable, I would put him higher. And it's going to be hard, I think, after this year, not to have Breece and Garrett right near 1 and 2. But based on what they've done so far, I don't think it's fair to put either of them above any of the people ahead of them.
Fair.
All 4 guys ahead of them have been multiple time All-Pros.
Yep.
Which is awesome. That's
really
cool.
I'm with you. And then great player. Moved Reddick to the front. Mosley, I think, could be 2. Reed 3. Morstead, Greg the Leg, Carter.
And I think Michael Carter is like a distant last of that, but he is terrific at what he does. I think that's pretty good.
I feel good about it.
I really like this good starter category. Like, these guys feel like they should be in the same place, these 4 guys.
Is there anybody we can move up to make it look
good starter?
Yeah, that we can make it look more proportional on the graphic. We don't. That's not.
We're not here. This is not equal outcomes. Yeah. We're equal opportunity, not equal outcome. It is. If there's one good starter, there's one good starter. There's 4 of them. I don't think we need to force it. We could try. Like, Conklin would probably be the guy to move up. Because I feel like, but I don't think Conklin's as good of a player as Mike Williams.
No, you're right. You're right. He can't go there. And if we went to the solid player, if you go Tony, Conklin, Thomas, Tyrod, Chuck, and Davis, do we feel good about that?
Yeah, I have Ashton last. Maybe we should put Solomon Thomas at the end of that list. Fair. He had a very nice year last year, but he figures to me as just a rotational guy, backup kind of player. But he's very solid and a good person. I'm very happy to just have him. Would you switch Tony Adams and Conklin?
I could be in favor of that move.
Yeah, because I think I'm closer to moving Conklin up than Tony. I think Tyrod Taylor is terrific and perfect right where he is. Tyron Smith Jr., Chuck Clark looks like number 4 is good. This is not bad, Matt.
Yeah, I like
this. This next high upside is going to be interesting.
I want to put Olu next to Tippmann because I'm that high on him.
I think I'd rather have Olu ahead of Tippmann.
I like that.
I mean, he's definitely a better prospect. Tippmann is already relatively proven, had a nice year.
You could throw McDonald up there.
Little Will McDick.
Then you go John Simpson.
Yep.
You have Kinlaw. Leonard Taylor towards the bottom. Corley,
I would probably move Braylon up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you put him 4?
I like 4.
It's a bit presumptive, but this is an upside category.
I don't think we need to reinvent Do Your Job. I feel like they're all the same.
Yeah.
In terms of like who goes where.
But whose job do we need to be done? The doiest.
I like Lazard. Like, I actually don't think he's like bottom end Do Your Job guy.
Yeah.
I would argue moving like he's top. I think Gibson should be up there.
Lazard feels like the poster boy for this category. Like, just literally, please do what you were assigned to do. He doesn't have to have any upside. Catch 40 balls for 500 yards.
Yeah, and then you go Ruckert, Hennessy, Gibson, JBC, Irv. I don't hate that. I don't hate
JBC is interesting if we want, like, he could be a possible guy that moves up to a high upside.
I don't hate that move. I like that move a lot.
You just want to balance out the categories, dude. Let's make a new category, a 3-tiered name. JBC. I mean, is there anyone in no expectations that we need to move up?
Izzy, Mitchell, McGregor. You could be. I don't know. I think probably fair where they're at.
like maybe Wes Schweitzer moves up to do your job. Like he's the main backup interior guy. Like someone gets hurt, I'm more comfortable with Wes Schweitzer coming in than Newman or like Jake Glazer on the practice squad. Or was it Chris Glazer? Chris Glazer and Jake Hansen. Those are the two guys, not Harrison Glazer.
Is there one more guy we can move up and do your job to feel pretty good about it? Maybe Max Mitchell. You could.
He's proven enough.
Look at the graphic. Let me take a screenshot now. I'm gonna forget to do it.
Smile.
No, I'm not taking a screenshot of us. I'm doing just the graphic.
I look pretty good though.
Damn. All right. I
really like it now. I really like it.
Wow. And hey, if you made this far, we always follow back our subscribers. So DM us on Twitter if we don't follow you yet. We definitely will. Like 45-minute video, knocking it out.
Not bad.
I like it.
This is so Sauce is number 1, man. So cool. Look at that category. This is an insane. The Red Jets really have what? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like 15 really good players.
Yep. And as we've seen, there's been guys like everybody in the high upside. Everybody here next year could be a good starter to a great player. Like Olu, Will McDonald, Braylon Allen goes crazy. Kinlaw pops. Like they could move up a category. And I think everybody else down here is probably they could maybe move up to solid veteran, but I don't have anybody under high upside. If you do your job, you're fine by us. And there's not a player on the team we hate. Like there's always like 3 to 4 guys we can't stand and we shit on. There's like no one on the roster now that we have that with.
Yeah, it used to be Ashton Davis. Dude, and Lazard is fine. Or hopefully will be fine. You always say, Matt, that you need 22 guys. There's 22 good players. The first 4 categories right now is 23 guys. Kicker and a punter, but that helps. And then Tippmann is the other starter. So very solid.
Damn, I feel good. Mike, anything before we wrap up? We'll do a video soon. Maybe do the Oregon Trail.
We'll do the Oregon Trail. We have some fun stuff coming out. I finished a video the other day we're going to release.
Oh, yeah.
We have to work on our song. We actually had a guy come in and he was emailing me that he made a Jets fan song that's pretty funny that he wants to play on our show. We have Oregon Trail. We have some guests that are hopefully going to come on. Just all around good stuff.
I meant to bring it up at the beginning of the video. So there's a rapper, songwriter, performer who I DM'd on Twitter, who's a big Jet fan. He has over 1 million followers on Twitter. He's following.
Guess who it is?
He's following only 1,000 people, and I'm one of them. Do you want to guess who it is?
Hoodie Allen.
It is Hoodie Allen, and I DM'd him. I said, me and my buddy are cooking up a song, Jets related.
Yeah.
Could you imagine we write it and Hoodie Allen performs it?
Yeah.
Could you imagine how good that
is
would
it going to be the song that we've been writing, or is it a different one?
It could be the one that we're writing. We could do our own. Your vocals on the song that we're writing would probably be the better move. But like, what if Hoodie Allen like did it? Like, 2 million people.
That would actually probably gain some traction. We should probably do that.
I like it. All right, Mike. Have a good night. Be safe. You going out tonight?
Yeah, gonna have a few drinks.
Yeah,
cocktails.
Going to happy hour, and not to get serious, just Uber if you're drinking. Fucking horrible news in the NHL today.
Garbage.
The most obvious layup of all time in the year of 2024. We grew up with it. I know people didn't. The guy that it happened to is probably, I think he was like over 50, and their era did it. They're morons for doing it, and it's sad. Like 1 minute, lights go out, and the bare minimum you should do as a human is don't cause that to happen to another person for no reason. And fuck that guy, Uber, Lyft, or sleep in your car with the keys off. So before ending on a bad note, Mike, 11-6 is our floor. Yep. 14-3 is our ceiling. AFC East champions. And then,
it's our favored.
I tweeted out. I want to know what you thought about it. I only see 3 options for the Jets moving forward for the year. They're either going to win the Super Bowl and Rodgers is going to retire right off in the sunset. I think they have a good year, playoff year, option B. They don't make it to the final game, and Rodgers comes back for a last dance in 2025. And if everything goes bad and everything goes south, you go ahead and blow it all up, which I would still want Rodgers to come back. I don't care. But if they were to blow it up, like I think Kirk Cousins will be the starter in 2025. I actually do believe that.
If they're going to use a veteran guy in 2025 and Rodgers wants to play, you gotta.
Yeah, but I'm in on keeping Rodgers no matter what happens. They can go 0-17. I'm keeping Aaron Rodgers next year. But if it were to blow up and they're not getting him back, Kirk Cousins and draft a guy. That's it.
I tweeted out in 2018. In 2018, I tweeted that I would sell my sisters for Kirk Cousins to be our quarterback, which is hilarious on multiple levels because he's not even that good. But I would like Kirk.
I was in Miami spring break during the Kirk Cousins saga, and I tweeted out that I would get a tattoo of Kirk Cousins on my body if they got him. And I think someone replied, like, why would Kirk Cousins come here after everything that happened? We gave Kirk Cousins a 3-year, $90 million guaranteed deal. And there's a video of him. What happened?
Yeah, he used the Jets.
He was happy. Like it wasn't like it was probably really good.
Yeah, Michael Penix would be like 45 by next year, so they'll have to start starting him.
Yeah. Well, we'll upload the video. We'll get it out tonight. Mike, have a good night, buddy.
Jet up.